Old saying in politics that what can swing undecided voters in a place like Wisconsin is whether you seem like somebody they would like to have a beer with.
Yeah.
Why would people in Wisconsin want to have a beer with you?
Well, I guess they'd want to have a beer with me because I actually do like to drink beer. And
So that's JD Vance being asked why anyone would want to have a beer with him. And his answer is, well, I like beer. This guy could not get any more awkward, and that is not the right answer. Just because you like beer does not mean that I would want to sit down and have a beer with you. And I know this because I played in dive bars for over 25 years. I would come off stage to have a beer on my breaks. There was a whole lot of people in these places that love beer. That's why they were there. And there was a whole lot of them that I did not want to sit down and have a conversation with. So just because you like beer, JD, does not mean that anyone would actually want to have one with you. And I don't know why anyone would want to have a beer with JD Vance after the next couple of clips I'm going to show you, because he is out here now attacking Tim Walz military service. And it's kind of funny because 20 years ago, back in 2004, Republicans did the same exact thing. They had George W. Bush standing there who didn't serve his country, who avoided going to Vietnam, and they made him into a war hero. And meanwhile, they had John Kerry with shrapnel in his legs from the service that he did in Vietnam, and they somehow tried to make John Kerry the bad guy in that story. I've never really forgave him for that, and here they go again playing one of their same old hits. JD Vance is going to now attack Tim Walz military service and tell this lie, but that's okay because he knows as long as he throws it out there in MAGA land, it will stick, and it's pretty damn pathetic. But take a look at the clip.
what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control, he said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me.
Now, I don't know if MAGA Republicans actually know this or care, but it's actually against the law to lie about someone's military service in an attempt to defraud them. But that's what JD Vance did right there by trying to say that he got the call that he was going to have to go to Iraq, and so he retired to avoid going into combat. That's not what happened. Tim Walz served 24 years in the National Guard. He achieved the high rank of Command Sergeant Major, and he retired in May. He filed for his retirement in May of 2005. They didn't get the alert that they could be deployed until July of 2005, and they didn't actually get deployed until October of 2005. But that didn't stop JD Vance from getting up there and throwing that out to MAGA so that they can have some new talking point, and so that now they can say that Tim Walz is a coward. And it's absolutely bullshit. It's an insult to everyone that served. And I am not going to sit here and get into a match of where I'm slinging one person's military service against the other. JD Vance served 4 years in the military. He did 6 months deployment in Iraq. He didn't see any combat, and he admits to that. I'm not here to throw military service back and forth because I think it's one of the most tasteless things that you can do. And for someone who served their country to turn around and say that about a man who served for 24 years, and then he wants to talk about stolen valor? Really? JD, do you really want to have this conversation? Do you not realize who you are running alongside of here? Do you not realize that you're running alongside Captain Bone Spurs himself? Do you not realize that you're running alongside a man who called veterans suckers and losers? Do you not realize who you're running alongside of a man who mocked John McCain in his service? Again, they'll mock anyone's service, even if they were tortured in combat. They will mock their service. If they've got shrapnel in their legs, they will mock that and then turn around and tell you they're pro-military. Donald Trump said that dodging STDs was his personal Vietnam. And yet JD Vance has the gall to stand up there and call out Tim Walz' military service and act like that somehow makes him better. It's so ridiculous, and it's just so cringe to watch this guy go out here and try to do his Dollar General Trump impression, and all he's doing is just digging his heels in deeper and deeper and showing us that, hell no, none of us wants to sit down and have a beer with that guy. Now, that clip was bad enough, but guess what? I've got another one for you, because the funny thing is, JD Vance is married to an Indian woman. He has biracial kids, but yet he doesn't have a problem with Donald Trump questioning Kamala Harris. Take a look at this.
Could you speak a little louder? Sorry.
Will Jones from Local 4. I want to talk a little bit about race. I was at the National Association of Black Journalists conference last week where President Trump made some attacks on Vice President Harris's biracial heritage. You're married to an Indian American woman. You have biracial children. How do you explain his attacks, and what is your reaction to his attacks as a father of biracial children?
Yes, sir. So I am the father of biracial children. Actually, my wife is here today. My kids are back home with my aunt today. And look, I was not bothered at all by what President Trump said, and I didn't take it as an attack on Kamala Harris's biracial background at all. What I took it as was an attack on Kamala Harris being a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing when she's in front of one audience. She pretends to be something else when she's in front of another audience. And I think he was observing the basic foundational reality that Kamala Harris pretends to be something different depending on which audience she's speaking to.
All right, before we keep going here in the video, I just wanted to take a minute, remind everybody, if you've not already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment if you feel like it. It just helps boost these videos and the algorithm, and I really appreciate you. And also, be sure to check out our memberships here on the channel, because right now I'm doing some exclusive members-only content where I'm actually reading from Hillbilly Elegy. Yeah, I'm rereading it again, and we're talking about how JD Vance exploited Appalachia in this book. And we're also talking about how that he pretends to be someone he's not, depending on which crowd that he is in front of. So if you would like to see content like that, be sure to check out our memberships. Yeah, JD Vance actually stood there and accused someone of pretending to be something they're not, when he wrote an entire book pretending to be something he's not. And he changes his tune depending on what crowd he's standing in front of. He's the one that said once upon a time that Trump was America's Hitler. He's the guy that once upon a time said he couldn't stand Donald Trump. He's also the guy that once upon a time said he could understand that Trump was exploiting the people of Appalachia. But now he's right there with him, singing all of his praises and digging in his heels and acting just like him. And he's standing up there questioning someone's race when he has biracial children of his own. He's standing up there criticizing someone's military service because they retired after 24 years when he served too. In both cases, as a father of biracial children, he should have enough respect to say, you know what? We shouldn't go there. We shouldn't say these things about Kamala Harris, but no, he can't do that. I don't see anything wrong with what Trump said. And I guarantee you, if you cornered him and you ask him all the things that Trump has said about veterans over the years and disrespected veterans over the years, he would not care, because he will talk about people's race and he will talk about their military service when he can do it for political gain, which tells me he doesn't really care about either or. If you could sit there and talk like that as the father of biracial children, and you could sit there and listen to Trump talk like that and not have a problem with it, it shows us that you're perfectly okay pretending to be something you're not to get ahead in this world. I am so excited that we have Tim Walz. I know I said in several videos that I was pulling for Andy Beshear to be the VP, and that's because what I wanted more than anything, I wanted to see Andy Beshear, a real Appalachian, go up against a phony Appalachian in a loser leaves Appalachia match. That's what I was pulling for. But the best part about the Democratic side of the aisle right now is we have some of the best voices on our side. There wasn't a bad pick for Kamala Harris to pick, and she picked a damn good one, and one that I'm proud of, and I'm proud to say, yes, That's going to be our VP nominee. I can't wait. He's already out there. He's absolutely crushed it. He's absolutely killing it. He's bringing it. He's got a great record. He's got plenty of experience, and he's got way more experience in this world and in this life than JD Vance ever has, and he's the real deal. And so it's going to be hilarious. I am going to probably cook out that day. The day that he we'll probably have a party over at Brando's the day that Vance and Walz debates, because if you want to see a lost ball in high weeds, wait until Vance is standing there. You're going to find out for sure if he's wearing eyeliner, because what's going to happen is he's going to start crying, and we'll see once and for all if he's really wearing it. I say that he is. But it's going to be funny when he stands across and tries to debate Walz. He is going to be up against the wall, and he's going to be a lost ball in high weeds. And it's going to be hilarious to watch. But the guy sickens me. And he sickens me because there's no low he won't go to. And there's no low Donald Trump can go to now that he will ever step back and say, you know, I can't go along with this. I can't be part of this. But guess what? When they lose and he's trying to rebrand himself, just mark old Brando's words, he'll be out there pretending that he never liked Trump again. And I'll still be sitting there going, buddy, it don't matter what you say, because you ain't from here.